going to finish this story with Snowy. Yeah, you like to read story. Look at here. Gran grab a lot. Like this story? Touch. Touch. You want to read? Look at here. We'll continue this story. Okay? Hey, Snowy, are you going to read story? Look at. What is this? Okay. Hello children, I'm going to finish this story today. Right. Change my mind indeed, muttered Gran, going into his study. He picked up a handful of money and held it up. Mine, all mine, he glutted. Then something strange happened. As he looked again at his hand, he saw that it was empty. There was nothing in it at all. He was holding air. Gran blinked when he opened his eyes and sighed with relief, for the money was back. How very odd, Gran thought. He locked the money up and decided to forget about what had happened. I must have made a mistake, he said to himself. But the next day something else happened. He was walking towards his car when he suddenly stopped and stared. There, in the parking space where his car had been, was a pile of old metal and scrap. There his car became a pile of metal like this. This is his money is empty in the box. Next day he is going to meet optician. We'll read that. Gran blinked and his car was back in its place. Must be something wrong with my eyes, he thought, so he went to the optician. But the man couldn't find anything at all wrong with his eyesight. Only a few days later, Gran Grab a Lot was walking towards his house when he suddenly gasped and gaped. In front of him, where his lovely house had stood, was a huge heap of rubble. Once again, as soon as Gran blinked, everything was back to normal. So when he blinked his eyes, that everything is back to normal. So something magic happening, I think. We'll see. Looking at the wardrobe. We'll read that. Later, the same sort of thing happened when Gran opened his wardrobe. He saw nothing but rags, a blink, and his expensive suits and bright shirts were back in their usual places. Next day, Gran stormed back to see the optician, saying that he must have made a mistake, but the man still couldn't find anything wrong with Gran's eyes. So again he went to see the optician, but the optician couldn't find anything. So what's happening next? We'll read that. A few nights later, he had the biggest shock of all. He looked at himself in the mirror and saw nothing. He blinked and his reflection was back. Even so, Gran was shaking all over as he climbed into bed that night. Then again, where is he? He's going to consult a doctor. We'll see that. Next morning, he went to see the doctor. All you need, Mr. Grab-a-Lot, said the doctor, is a holiday, a complete change. Why don't you go away with a friend for a week's fishing or climbing or sunbathing? Grant didn't have any friends, but he decided that a change was a good idea. So he bought a bigger house, a faster car, and better clothes. He even bought an aeroplane and had flying lessons. I'm going to forget all this nonsense and grab myself a good time, he said. Yeah, he's talking to a man. We'll see. So Grant zoomed about in his aeroplane and bought more and more things, but he seemed to enjoy himself less and less, and he kept on seeing strange things. Sometimes he had to blink several times before they vanished, and everything was normal again. So Grab-a-Lot became very unhappy. One day a man knocked on his door asking for help. His car had run out of petrol. Gran was very different now from the person who had sent away Mrs. Carey and her collecting box. Then he had been proud and pushy. Now he was sad and lonely and knew it. He welcomed the stranger in and gave him a can of petrol and a cup of tea. And that was the start of a friendship between Grant and the stranger, whose name was Sandy. After that first meeting, when Sandy had gone, Grant sat down to think. He had just discovered something rather surprising. I got more happiness from giving something to Sandy than I ever got from any of the things I've grabbed, he said to himself. Amazing. Then he remembered Mrs. Carey, and a slow smile spread across his face. She said she hoped I'd think differently, he murmured. And I certainly do. And she also said that giving brings great happiness. And now I know she was right. The tale of Grant is make-believe, as anyone would guess, but it is true that grabbing things won't bring much happiness. The Bible tells us that as well. As it says, the way to live is not to grab things for yourself, but to give and give and give. Okay, the end. Thank you for listening. Bye bye. Take care. I'll see you another story.